few days ago, yet another so-called patch comes out from our very beloved developers of Elite Dangerous, with patch notes that read like a fucking pamphlet. By this I mean that there's a lack of any real changes, except for two major impacting ones that make you think that that quote-unquote patch might as well have been called a hotfix, to nerf yet another money-making cash cow, and only that. But of course, not to make it look like a complete knee-jerk action, a sprinkling of some additional random fixes for the latest big feature tossed in too. This time in order to quote-unquote fix a method where you could use the level of detail loading to refresh an asteroid and continue mining really good goodies out of it, it's basically quote-unquote fixed by breaking it. Yes, I'm not even kidding. What would happen is you do the switch, and the game decides, oh look, you want to mine those things? I'm gonna delete them from the rock. Yep. That's literally what happens. And it's even worse if you do manual logging. It basically depletes the rock completely. Yeah, I'll let that sink in. Oh, but don't let me stop you. There's another interesting thing that a lot of people have noticed with another mineable commodity, Tritium, that is usually used either for trading or powering the new features, the fleet carrier's jump drives. And when you're deep in the space, you really can't buy it anywhere, and the only way to get it is through mining. Now, your chances of finding Tritium has been reduced by about 90%. As illustrated in this forum post. That's great! On top of that, there's also changes to hotspots for mining, which are also reduced. Now, thing is, in many cases, I would be the first one to say the one or the other way of making credits, the lifeblood of your intended gameplay, is too generous. However, the thing that you will also hear me say right after that is that the rest of the gameplay types and routes of making credits are unbelievably underpaying. Seems a lot of people have been taking an umbrage with the latest change and how draconic it has been. Not to mention inept, where to fix a thing they had to quite literally break it to prevent people from using it. But this, sadly, is not a unique case. Ever since I can remember, the developer team's attitude has been as simple as a donkey. Step 1. Make sure that the grind of the game does not become too easy. If that happens, nerf hammer the shit out of it. Step 2. Keep developing new features that are ultimately released, half-baked and barely working. Step 3. Deliver 1 to 2 patches after the new feature drops to fix it only. Step 4. Repeat Step 1. And bonus Step 5. Ignore the state of the game, its balance, its gameplay or narrative, because Step 2 is the most important thing ever. Forget ship balance, forget engineering balance, forget broken features, forget fun. To my memory, they have never took the time, now especially in the maintenance phase, to address even the simplest issues of the game. Fuck, even now I can go in my ship launch fighter, launch it, sit in it, then try to accept people to my squadron and crash the game. See what I mean about features that they just released, but it's not the latest one, so fuck it. So are you telling me right now that the team who works on the current updates is too preoccupied making fleet carriers? Or fucking each other, or whatever the fuck they're doing, that making a little bit of time to play the game and actually adjust it? So that the new features that were so carelessly brought in at least could be brought up to the rest of the game? Or rather, the rest of the game be brought up to the new features. You know, even No Man's Sky delivers somewhat regular patches, fixes and balance passes, not to even mention hotfix happy Warframe or balance crazy PlanetSide. The culture over at Frontier seems to be very isolated, that either the management are strictly prohibiting its employees from even thinking about improving the game for the fear of not delivering the next big feature in time, or that everyone just simply stopped giving a shit. I can't say for certain, of course, but from the outside looking in, I can just tell by the frequency of the patches what the mentality of the team, or at least its leaders, is. Only fix the new feature. Fuck the rest. Let's make space slugs and microtransactions. Seriously, go now and check for yourself. Skim through the patch notes that have been released. Most of them in the last 2-3 years have come to support the new feature pretty much only, or nerf yet another moneymaker, and everything else is just a bonus. This culture they have bred over at Frontier would be completely unacceptable in any other software development house. But here it is, the British very own Frontier. Now, if you are unimaginative or sheltered enough, you may ask, now, well, what would you do if you were them? Oh, please, the great and powerful Yamix, share your Latvian wisdom. And you know what? Okay, I'll indulge you, why not? Here are my 3 things that deserve the most attention, and can be, if not fixed, then improved a little bit, by simple value changes. Number 1, the bounty payouts for NPCs. A simple multiplier of 10 would do the trick, and it would still underpay compared to mining. Number 2, specific mission payouts also multiplied by about 2 to 5 times, like assassination missions or even data courier missions. Number 3, some simple value changes for multiple ships and weapons. Asp, Scout, Cutter, and Ferdinand are the ones with more obvious issues, but it's mostly due to engineering in the latter too. And you know what? Fuck it, here's number 4. Yamix made a video essay that blatantly illustrates almost all issues with engineering. I recommend checking it out. See, we all can accept a little bit of bugs, things as such. There's always room for some unintended bugs. Problem here is that with these updates, patches and whatnot, always comes the amount of shit that is just not acceptable. Even to a level that sometimes it makes you question, did you even test your patches? And I know I exaggerate often, but this is not one of them. Now, after community asked for betas on the upcoming updates and more testing, the development team was so quick to jump and try to publicly appease people, promising that we'll do better. But at this point, it looks like it's all just a performance for them. It's simply sad to watch a game that had such a great start, over these years get treated by the fresh blood and old stubborn management so poorly. And you know, for this video I did go skim the past patch notes on the forums, and my god, the pattern is even worse than I thought. It really is. Release an update with new feature, patch 1, patch 2, both are fixing the new feature only, then fuck off until the next update. Or at least until the players start abusing the game a bit too much and have a bit too much fun. Nerf it, then go back to making the next update. Do you really think that your game is in such a state that it's perfect until the next update? Oh, but wait, isn't Elite Dangerous, as you yourselves tout as the live service game? And do you know what live service games do in order to be live service games? They have constant interaction between the players, developer team, and community to drive the player retention. So, tell me what happened to Galnet News, even though I don't like it, just tell me what happened to that. And, community goals, right, those two. What happened to those, I wonder? Isn't your game a live service game? What kind of a business are you running, guys? And you know, I could go on about this, but you know what? We all could, and indeed should. We should beat the dead horse. And maybe not to me, because Yamix is Yamix, and you know, Yamix has a potty mouth and snobby devs don't like, or at least their hypocritical forums for sure don't like when you use the words. Regardless, maybe they will listen to you. So do share the video, or share your opinions, ideas on pester devs. Make noise and a fuss. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So don't you forget that. Anyways, my little rant is over, so why not check out the links down below, like Patreon and Discord of course, and more, why not? But as for me, well, back to scripting another video.